Well, Grampy, call 911. Grampy's in the attic again. This ladder is not insulated, so what little insulation you have, which is very little, okay, you have none over this ladder, which means in the summertime, heat is going to go through this hole. In the wintertime, heat's going to come through this hole. So you're always going to be gaining or losing heat at the wrong times. Okay, this is called a heat sink, or a heat sink. So this, what insulation you had, you got none here. This ladder is improperly fastened with drywall screws. Okay, and in some places, no screws at all. So this ladder was not properly fastened. That's it. Only a fool or electrician to go up a ladder like this. Coming up here, that's our soil stack from the other bathroom, from the hall bathroom. Meeting us. We're met here by about 2 inches of insulation and rat dookie. We got 2 layers of loose fill insulation. We've got one depth marker over there that's advertising 5 inches. Should you choose to believe it's that much. Okay. Coming up here, we do not have a clear and free 36-inch working space in front of the HVAC system. So we're going to park a fat technician up here, and he's going to be trying working on your system. That's why the cover doesn't fit like it does. And we're not going to molest that. That's why the cover doesn't fit like that. We're going to have a whole video about this system. We're about the attic here. And, you know, there's going to be some crossover. There always is. This chimney used to be for the kitchen, and that's why they cooked. And we can see that there was a chimney fire here at one time. And that's why they quit putting fireplaces and chimneys to cook with, you know. As we got into the 20th century, moved on up. Okay, so there's that. But our purlins are undersized. That's going to make the report as information. It's the way the home was built in 1940. That's the way the homes were built. The purlins and the rafters were all undersized. You see these boards going crossways here? Those, okay, are, what are those? I just told my client what they are. Okay, and that's what they nailed the OSB over lath. That's a lath. And they nailed the shingles onto the lath. This OSB is when they replaced the roof. Now, when they took the shingles off, where do you think they went? Where do you think the shingles went after they took them off the lath? All that debris came down and landed. All that combustible debris and all the minerals and the dirt and the dust came down in the insulation. And then they covered it over with new insulation. And when they did that, well, you didn't, you know, they may say that you got 5 inches of insulation over here, which I think is an overstatement, but you don't have 5 inches of good insulation. You've got 2 inches of some type of insulation and 2 inches of what once was good insulation, and it's all been packed down. You see these boxes? I bet there was a lot more boxes up here than that. See how flat that is? It's supposed to look nice and smooth like a fresh snow, but it doesn't. It's packed down flat. Okay, they're like we're building something here. Okay, it's supposed to be all fluffy and nice and smooth. Now see those trails? Well, that one's kind of big. I bet a man made that trail. But see these other trails? People didn't make those trails. Mice made those trails. Look at all that dookie. Okay, so we got dookie up here. This is called a purlin. Okay, faced the wrong way, the wrong size. And this is called a purlin strut. It's the wrong size, and it does not have a stiffener on it. But this purlin strut right here is cracked. Okay, so we got a cracked purlin strut. Now over here, that's the front porch area, and we're not required to have insulation over there. What we should have had is a dam, a restrictor around the living space perimeter to keep, see that insulation that's over in there? To keep the insulation from spilling out, from losing your insulation. Oh, there's another open electric junction box over the patio too, right over the front porch. That is, focus for me. You're not going to do it, are you? I paid extra for this camera to do that. But we got an open electric junction box over there with my open electric junctions without a junction box. Over there where my camera is pointing, there's a little yellow spots in the middle of the picture. I hope it comes out better than it is on my little screen. But this is a good example. Now we're over the front porch. look at all that debris. You see that? That's what's underneath your new insulation, or what was new. Your newer, the white insulation. You've got stuff like that that's in between the insulation. If they didn't pick it up off that nice clean floor, do you think they came in here and picked it up off the insulation? I don't. I don't think that's what happened at all. So coming along over here, we've got that used to be a whole house fan. That was the early air conditioning. And then we got over here, that might be the fan blade from it. I said, well, get it out of here. So they just took it to the other end of the attic, I guess. I don't know, but we got a couple decommissioned we got a couple areas with decommissioned fan parts. I think that's what I'm going to say. A couple areas with decommissioned fan parts. And so we're moving on along, moving on along, moving on along. What else can we find here? I am not seeing, and I'm going to continue to look. I'm not going to see, but I'm not seeing any kind of ventilation up here. Now, it's not very hot today. It rained all night, so the conditions are kind of cool. I'm actually kind of comfortable up here right now, but I'm not seeing any kind of ventilation, any kind of attic ventilation. I can see the fireplace peeking out over there, and yes, the wood is too close to the fireplace. Every house in North Texas, the wood is too close to a brick fireplace. I was working, I was fresh, I was young, I was new, and I called that out to an engineer. An engineer was working with me. I was real proud, professionals working together. And I said, hey, that wood's too close to the fireplace right there. And the engineer told me, he said, I know they all are. I never say anything about it. But the Texas Real Estate Commission wants me to tell you that the wooden framing is too close to the fireplace, and that's my daddy, so that's who I'm going to have to account to. So I continue to call it out. I continue to call it out. So what else is there? What else is there? Okay, maybe another home inspector comes up here, and maybe they're right. That is a split rafter. Nobody can, deny that. Yes, the rafters are undersized. Nobody can deny that. Purlins are undersized. All that's a given. But this ridge board, believe it or not, this ridge board is okay. I mean, we'd like to see a bigger one. We'd like to see a better one, but that meets minimum standards. What we're missing is rafter ties and our collar beams or collar ties. People call them two different things. But we don't have very much to keep the building from going like this. We don't have any sway protection per se, except for the purlins, which also provide us some uplift. But we don't have any lateral. We don't have much in the way of lateral support up here, and that's the way we built them in 1940.